Hello, and welcome to another 15 Minutes of Fame. I'm Ralph Ann Forrest, your host. And today I have the pleasure of talking to Mikell Carroll Reed. I have to say it slow because, I have a little bit of a lisp and everything doesn't run off the tongue for me. But anyway, again, I'm just so excited to have her. For those of you that don't know, I am the confidence coach, and for 30 years, I've helped women show up looking and feeling their absolute best. Just helping to create a brand image that radiates from the inside out. And so periodically, I get the opportunity and the honor to meet other women who are basically doing that too in their lives and their careers. And anyway, I'm going to let Mikhail tell you a little bit more about her story and how she's been able to kind of shape the face of pageantry just by doing what she does naturally. All right, so let's bring her on. Hello, Mikhail.
Hi, how are you, Ralph Ann?
Doing well, doing well. It's so good. Now remind everybody where you're locating from, because I do tell everybody the disclaimer of being able to be in someone's home, even though we're on opposite sides of the world, is
Yeah,
that sometimes there's a little glitch in technology. So if we have a little bump in the Wi-Fi, don't be alarmed. But tell everybody where you're tuning from.
absolutely. So currently I live in Belgrade, Serbia, and if people don't know where Serbia is, it's basically to the east of Croatia and to the south of Hungary and north of Bulgaria.
Wow. So we're not exactly neighbors.
No, not not exactly. Though next year we're likely moving back to the DC area, so then I sort of will
Yeah,
be neighbors
neighbors.
with you. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that's kind of neighbors. So my state competition will be in Arlington in October.
Oh,
So I
awesome.
will be minutes away from the Pentagon, minutes
That's
away from
exciting.
DC. So okay, that's very exciting. So tell everyone, first of all, just thank you for joining me today. I came across your story, you know, you had shared it, and it kind of entailed, just how you had, suffered bullying as a child, or overcame, as I like to say. I was bullied as a child. I was bullied and isolated and all the things. And so I was just immediately drawn in, and just I love like a Cinderella rags to riches story, so to speak. So just tell everybody, a little bit about your pageant background, and then how that's kind of morphed into the career that you're into now.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Maine. And as a little girl, as you mentioned, I was bullied like many people are. I think, unfortunately, it's all too common. I was very skinny. I had a big gap in my teeth. I wore Coke bottle glasses and, was sort of a bookworm. So I was teased a lot. And it does stick with you at a certain point. And, I never really felt super confident in myself. And I think that made me a little bit shy growing up. And then I had this dream of being an attorney. And based on that, realizing how shy I was, I thought I need to do something to get myself out of this sort of shell of being so shy and not wanting to speak in front of people. So I started doing some pageants, thinking, well, what's the best way to not be shy is throw yourself in a swimsuit and high heels in front of hundreds of people and be judged, right? Um,
Right.
so so tried Miss America Local, which was like a local pageant in Maine. And it was fun, but it was terrifying for me. I literally nearly ran off stage during the swimsuit competition. I don't think I looked at the judges once because I was just so shy. So it took me about another year to get back into pageantry, and I still needed scholarship money. Still also, sorry, that's my daughter upstairs. It's
Oh no,
bedtime here.
that's the
Bedtime here.
that's the no,
um,
that's the fun about doing these videos. Like I feel like I'm in the house.
exactly. But then, I just continued to do pageantry. It did take me a couple of years before I really started liking it. And then once I started liking it, you couldn't get me off the stage. I always then wanted to be in a spotlight. It really helped me gain self-confidence and self-esteem and finally start to feel really good about myself. And I'm such a different person now. People who knew me, I think, growing up and know me now, I think wouldn't really recognize me from how I was as a child, and even a young adult. Like in my first couple of years of college, I was still very shy. So pageantry really just, it changed my life for the better. And then, I continued in pageants for a couple of years until you age out, which is
Mm.
usually, pretty early for most of us, mid-20s. And then I didn't really realize pageantry was a thing as you got older. And then I was 35, living in DC, married, and thought I ought to see if there were any pageants for married women. Sure
Wow.
enough, there are. So I
Plenty.
started, yeah, quite a few. And so I competed in Mrs. DC America and just, got the pageant bug again after not having been in pageants for probably 8 or 9 years. I think I'd been without doing pageants. Got the pageant bug again, and was second runner up at Mrs. DC America, and then went on to be Mrs. Maine International and compete at the Mrs. International pageant. And then I went on to be Mrs. DC Tourism, and then won the World's Mrs. Tourism pageant in 2018. And then represented New England at the International Ms. pageant at the age of 41, and won the title of International Ms. USA. And yeah, so pageantry has done so much for me.
Wow.
And here I am now, 44, mom of
Mhm.
2, living in Serbia. So definitely sort of everything's come full circle, I feel like.
It's so exciting. And one thing I am never dulled about it. I mean, I love to hear like how, pageants can help shape, our careers. And, I know for me, I remember the first year that I won a state title, that was Miss Virginia in 98. So I feel like we may have been kind of somewhere, and I coached for the Miss America organization in the Hampton Roads area. So I feel like we may have been around the same people at one point. We may have overlapped somewhere. But just all the neat offers I used to get, when people heard that, like Miss Virginia, can you come do our this and come do our that? And literally just putting it on my bio, I remember getting some other opportunities just based on that. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you think, can you see definitely a reflection in being offered, getting a little more attention? Sometimes we like to say the crown just kind of grabs everybody's attention.
Absolutely. I had, as a young girl, like many young girls do, dreamed of, being a model and things like that. Again, I was really never tall enough and never really thought I was pretty enough for that type of thing. And then at 35, moved to DC, got a number of photos done when I was competing for the Mrs. DC America title. And then all of a sudden started getting all these opportunities based off this photo shoot that I did there,
Mm.
modeling. And I think I even did filmed a segment for a home improvement channel. I couldn't even tell you what it is right now. And I don't even think I've ever watched it, even though I got an opportunity to film that. But it was like a do-it-yourself network show. And just a number of different opportunities. And through pageantry, through the International Miss Pageant, I got the opportunity to model at New York Fashion Week 3 different
Wow.
times. Milan Fashion Week. I modeled in Paris. So just a lot of things that I honestly never would have expected, and certainly wouldn't have expected past the age of 40, having 2 kids. I mean, if somebody would have told me you'll be modeling in Paris and you've had 2 children and you'll be over 40, I'd be like, sure I will.
Because yeah, like you said, it opens up, and the fact that there's all these new systems that kind of came about, like right before the pandemic or in the midst of the pandemic, and just those, I love that we are, like you said, there's just so much more now. Like there's so much more opportunity. I'm 5'5", even out of 10, 12, 12, 14, being curvier, plus size, just all those things. I'm 49, I'm a grandmother. And for me to come back after 24 years of retirement and to be competing at state, my first state pageant, and it'll be close to 25 years at that time. They never even questioned. I don't even think they asked my age. Like, I don't even know if that was even a question. And for me, because this is the oldest I've ever competed, I didn't even think about asking. I'm like, well, I kind of hope it's not a big deal because nobody said anything. And I just think that that's wonderful that you can enter a pageant now, not even worrying. I mean, it's a Mrs. division, not even really being concerned that, oh, I don't even know if I aged out, because it's becoming less and less of an issue. And I think that's wonderful. I mean, it's not like we're going to just dry up and, you know, just non-exist at age 85 or 90. If we live to be 85 or 90, I love seeing women thrive at all ages. So I mean, I agree. I totally see you modeling in Paris. I mean, at any age.
Thank
those
you.
those photos that you sent, I'm like, oh, go get it. If you hadn't told me your age, I wouldn't have known, because I just really look for more of what women have to offer and contribute to the world at all age. I think that's the beauty of it, all shapes, sizes, ages, colors. I just think that's the dynamic of the epitome of women's empowerment. And so with these babies, so tell me, I can hear somebody in the background. So what's the ages of your children? And do you have any plans of competing again? Or tell us a little bit where you stand now.
Sure. So my kids are, I have Daniel, Danny, as we call him. He's 7, about to be 8 in September. And then Francesca, or Franny. So Danny and Franny. And she's 3 and about to turn 4 in like 2 weeks. She's gonna have a mermaid pool party.
Oh, oh,
As far as competing again, I actually, besides coaching, I'm hitting my 45th birthday this year. So I really wanted to do something that would motivate me to get in shape. So I am actually going to be competing next month in Miami in the Ms. World International and Ms. Universe pageant. I'll be competing for the title of Ms. USA Universe in Miami Beach. And it's just like a very, very fun pageant. And it's definitely very heavily based on being in great shape and having a great personality on camera. So I'm excited because it's very different than any other pageant I've ever competed in or thought about competing in. And I just thought, what the heck? It looks like a lot of fun. And as I stroll into 45 and get
nice.
closer to the big 50, I thought, I'm going to go in with a bang, and I am just going to say, why not do something a little out of my comfort zone.
I agree. I remember my 45th birthday. I called it the road to 50, because I feel like that's when you start to embrace it, or should.
Should. I'm not at should yet. I'm thinking I should, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm trying to get there.
It's so much fun, but I'm gonna tell you why I say it was a should embrace now for me, because that was the fastest 4 years ago. I remember my 45th birthday. We celebrated on the Spirit of Norfolk. I had a party, and it was just all the things. That was a blink of an eye. I mean, no pressure. I'm just gonna let you know. That was like the bat of an eyelash, the blink of an eye, and I'm like, oh my God. And I turned 49 this past June. So now I'm like, oh my God, now is less than a year away. So I feel like 45 is about the time to really start embracing it, because it literally is like lightning speed to me and women I've spoken to. But you're just in such an amazing position in order to be able to do that. I mean, you look good, you feel good. Other than other pageants, what type of preparation are you doing for this one, other than being fit, which I'm pretty sure that's just that's a part of your life. So, but you said every woman needs that motivation to, it's nice having a date. I know for me, like, it's okay. I like having a date to build up to, because then it kind of it rethinks like, oh, maybe I won't have the, the extra piece of cheesecake because I have to be in a
Exactly.
swimsuit.
For me, the date is imperative, and that's why I decided to do a pageant, because I thought after winning Ms. International Ms. USA, oh, I'm probably done. And I started my coaching business this past year, and that's been going really well. But, I just thought, okay, I want to hit 45 in amazing shape and amazing health and feeling great. And I knew I just needed to get back into a fitness routine and back into eating healthy again, especially during COVID. I think, we all fell off the wagon, maybe eating too much, having a little bit too many cocktails with too many meals, through the 2.5 years. So trying to get healthier is definitely a big part of that. But also as far as preparation, it's just making sure that I'm as confident as possible, because a lot of this pageant, like I said, is very different. It's all, you're never in front of judges, actually. It's all filmed. So they see film segments of you. So it's all being on camera and filming, which, like I said, will be really interesting and very different. So I've been trying to get ready for how different that aspect is going to be.
Cool. I love that. And yeah, just the concept to me of, like you said, being filmed. I mean, I started some coaching on broadcasting just, maybe 2.5 years ago. I'd had some experience, but when I decided to do the YouTube channel and, start doing the 15 minutes of fame, I'm like, okay, I probably should get some professional guidance on how to do this. And it really has become helpful. And like you, as a pageant coach now, I was called back into pageantry at the beginning of the year. And I thought it was for the sole purpose of, oh, I just probably need to coach or, maybe direct. And then literally like a light bulb went off one day, and I have a huge spiritual connection. And I really feel like God was like, I never said for you to be a director. I wanted you to get in front and compete again. I'm like, what? Okay, he must be. You got me mixed up with, the girl down the street. But but it is a great motivation. And I do feel like,
It
if
is.
I want to get back into pageant coaching again like I had, it's better to kind of walk through the process again. Now, is that kind of where you feel with your coaching business as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, to be honest with you, similar like when you supervise people, besides just supervising, you should also be doing that job so that your skills are as sharp as they can be. Because how
Mm-hmm.
are you a good manager or a supervisor if you don't know what the people you're supervising or managing are actually doing and going
Right.
through? So I think, again, yeah, it's been a few years. 2019 was when I won the International Ms. USA 2020 title. I
Mm-hmm.
did just give up the title in last September due to COVID. So I did have the title for over 2 years. But yeah, I just thought, it'll be great to sort of sharpen and hone my
Mm-hmm.
skills as well as expanding them through something that is completely out of my comfort zone and very different. And yeah, so that's another one of the reasons that I thought it would be a great sort of thing to do, and something new and fun. And I always like a new adventure as well. From my career with the State Department, where we move every 2 or 3 years to different countries, to pageantry, I like things different and sort of adventurous. So I like to try new things too.
I love it, and I'm excited to hear more. Definitely going to be on the lookout for more of your pageant consulting. So before we, say goodbye, because it's like the fastest 15. My 15 minutes, I always tell people 15-ish minutes of fame, because it ends up being like 15 to 20. But it's fun because I like it to feel like, more of a conversation. But tell everybody definitely, more of where to find you, like more about, because a lot of beauty queens see this that may be
Mhm.
interested in some pageant, coaching or consulting. So definitely tell us more of where to find you. Oh, losing my.
Absolutely. I can be found on Facebook and Instagram under Carroll Crown Consulting, which is my pageant consulting firm, as well as also my personal page, which is Mikell Reed Carroll, which you can see how that's spelled right below me, my name. So you can find me on either Instagram or Facebook, and just message me. That's how I run almost my entire business through social media, as far as like most of my clients just message me. And then we set up our interview prep sessions and pageant prep sessions that way. So that's the best way to find me. Thank you so much, Ralph, Ann, for having me on today. This has been awesome, and it's been fun to get to know you better as well.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you being here. And I'm just so tickled to be. It's so funny that when, like I said, when I decided to come back, and then it was like, pageant queen. Like, how you're on Facebook and it says people you may know. Well, everybody that was followed into like the feed for me were like, all like pageant queen, miss this, Mrs. That, teen who, teen that, Galaxy Globe. And I'm like, oh my God, you're trying to tell me something. Are you trying to tell me something or not? So I just have been, this has been the epitome of, not just like having new Facebook friends, but being able to sit and chat with so many cool women that are doing cool things from around the world. And I just could not wait to like be able to like, I have to talk to this lady because I feel like she's got a story. And like I said, the Cinderella story is one that unfortunately, like you said, we all just know too well. But it's it's because people like you that share the story, they need to hear it. I will have more information about you, what you're doing, in your career, in your pageant career, in your message to help, with heart disease prevention. I know that that's a big platform for you. I will have that information in the show notes, just how people can, learn more about you and your platform and what you're doing in your career, your business, and all the things, because I know it needs to fit into more than like a 20-minute a 20-minute time slot. But it's been a pleasure. I mean, thank you so much again. And I look forward to hearing more about what you have going on. And we'll definitely keep in touch. So this won't be the last time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Again, thank you so much for having me on. It's been wonderful speaking with you, and I can't wait for this to air and see what people think of it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.